Hi GenderqueerChat, it's Callie here. I'm doing this late night thing again because I couldn't think of a story to tell. And the reason is because I was trying to think of something vaguely gender related. I think I've told all my gender related stories on GenderqueerChat before, or at some earlier point in my personal channel history of making videos about gendery stuff, and I can't really remember which I've told and which I haven't. So I thought I'd try and tell something recent, but I haven't really been doing much over the summer because I've just been working on what I'm doing over the summer is working on a research project at my university, and basically all I do is sit at a table all day and read articles and write. So that doesn't make for... And then in the evenings I play chess and Scrabble with my flatmate, which is an excellent summer, and there is nothing in the world I'd rather be doing, but it doesn't make for very interesting storytelling. So what I thought I would do instead is tell you a non-gender related story, which is just about a walk I took recently, which both demonstrates various aspects of my personality and the coolness of the town where I currently live and its environs. So the town where I live has this beach called West Sands, and it's one of the most beautiful beaches in Scotland, and it's really, really long. I mean, there are probably beaches in your various beautiful home countries that put it to shame, but it's really nice, and it's really, really long. And it's actually, if you've seen the movie Chariots of Fire, it's where the beach scene with the running in that is filmed. So yeah, at West Sands, scene of Chariots of Fire, I went for this walk, and it was a walk to enable me to get to sleep, because I had obviously been studying all day and been doing lots of things in my brain, so I was tired but not enough with my body, so I decided to go for a long walk along this beach. And fun factoid, I just got a 3 CD collection, The Essential Billie Holiday, which I was listening to on my iPod while I was doing this. So if you can imagine the surrealness of walking along a very long sandy beach, listening to Billie Holiday in the evening after having spent a long day reading about conceptual theory of metaphor. So I start walking along this beach, and the tide is very, very far out, so it's right the way out. And I look over, and it forms one side of the far end of the beach forms one side of an estuary, the Eden estuary, and the other side is this beach called Tentsmuir Forest Beach. And it's another amazingly beautiful beach, but it's much more remote because you have to take a long path to get to it and walk through the forest and everything. It's a really nice walk, which I've done before, but it's really hard to get to the beach. But I could see all the way over, and the tide was so far out, there was just sand all the way over across the estuary, and it looked like there was sand all the way, and I could just walk across the floor of the estuary. The tide was so far out. And logic should have told me that the river must have kept flowing into the sea, but for some reason I thought, wow, the tide's so far out, I'm actually going to be able to walk all the way over to Tentsmuir Beach. You would think that logic would tell me that this is not the case, but I got to the end of the beach proper, and I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk all the way over to Tentsmuir Beach. So I set out across the sand, and I was walking for a very long time, because this is if you walk it the way you're supposed to walk it, then you go right around. You actually go, true story, you walk around the perimeter of an RAF base, of an Air Force base. You walk like a proper warplanes type Air Force base. You have to walk all the way around it, and I did this across like the bottom of the bay, basically, where the tide was so far out. And I was like, I looked behind me and I had to like paddle through a stream, an outflow of water, and so far out was I that when I look back, like the sand was really, really far away, and I saw this pack of seals ahead of me, just beside on this kind of rise, and that should have given me a clue, but I kept going. I tried to give the pack of seals a wide berth so I didn't scare them, but it turns out I scared them anyway, and they started moving, and they started like swimming away into the water, which it became obvious that there was now water between me and Tetsmere Forest Beach. But I was like 200 yards away. I had this entire bay, the side of which includes an Air Force base, I had like crossed, and I was now like 200 yards of water separating me and the opposite beach, and I had inadvertently scared away all the seals, and they were swimming past me, and they sort of turned their heads to look at me as they swam past, and obviously my folly was now revealed, that I had walked all this way across sort of sticky sand for nothing, except of course it wasn't for nothing, because it was gorgeous and in the kind of early evening, and but there was this one seal that didn't move, and it was the biggest of the seals, and I gave it a wide berth because I was scared of it, even though what was it going to do, like come up and flap at me, but and it was sort of, and it just didn't do anything. It was this huge seal, and I got really quite close to it on the way back, and yeah, and on the way back I was bored and I didn't have the same spirit of adventure, so I sort of jogged the way back, and got some very odd looks from people who were actually on the beach, because obviously here's me walking across kind of it's not the ocean floor, but what I was thinking of as having had been the ocean floor. It took me hours. I intended to go for an hour's walk. I ended up being out for 2.5 hours, and it was dark by the time I got home. But yeah, that was one of the best experiences I've had this summer, walking across the floor of the bay and at the lowest tide of the day, and seeing a pack of seals swim away from me. And it's not gender related, but I couldn't think of any other stories. So I hope that has proven at least a little diverting. Everyone else has had much more interesting stories than me, so if you haven't watched them yet, then I suggest you do it. And I will see you next week. Okay, bye.